welcome to the Trailer Island podcast. It's another Wednesday, and I'm joined as always. Wait, did I say my name? Did I say it's Alex?
It's Alex, everyone. It's Alex.
I said it's the Trailer Island podcast. That's right. But it's also Alex, and I'm joined by
Alex.
Oh, no.
Steve.
Steve's still in isolation, guys. We're really sorry about him.
Stir crazy,
also,
baby.
And Matthew's here, but I am here, present.
Oh, boy.
But maybe I should be in isolation. That's a question for my doctors.
The best part about my week was bringing in the bins because I got to go outside the perimeter fence.
Is that considered essential travel? Is it?
It's definitely illegal.
Have you just run rings around the house or done any form of exercise?
I'm digging holes. Much like the movie Holes.
Yeah,
Actually, that is
I love
quite a
that
good film. Holes is a good film.
Yeah, but that is not the movie we're talking about tonight.
No, it is not.
Is this? When did this movie come out? Was it
2016?
16. Do we think that might be?
I think it might be. Because hang on, how do we do? We do these after we've introduced. We do we tug it after we've introduced
really
the film, don't we?
struggling, aren't you?
It's Alex. It's Alex.
It's fine.
When do we do it?
Whenever we want. This is
Oh,
our
I don't
podcast.
know.
We can do what we want.
I've forgotten everything about what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, and I'm the one that's crazy.
Yeah, nurse.
So, anyways, because it's old enough, what does it qualify to be?
A time tug.
Hey, bring it in, Captain. Good on you, Captain. Yeah, thank you. Bring the boat in. That's good. Good.
I want a Whopper with cheese.
Steve, is the captain with you?
No.
Oh,
Did you hear his mic quality? He's a lot better quality than I am right now, so.
Oh, it just sounds like he might be in quarantine with you. It's hard to
Nope.
tell.
How's that dog?
He's
by
also
the way?
camera shy as well, so I can't see him on the webcam. So
Uh-huh.
is he looking healthy?
He's never looked healthy. He looks drunk. But how's the dog as well?
It's hanging in there. It's hanging in there.
Okay. Always a good thing to be hanging in there.
Healthy is what it is.
Yes, well, much like what the food featured in this movie we're about to talk about does not provide is health or nutrition.
No, it does not.
I'm actually very excited about this one. I was very keen for this film.
Well, because you're so excited, Matthew, would you like to introduce the film?
Yes, please. We are doing the Michael Keaton-led movie, The Founder.
I know what you're thinking. How the heck does a 52-year-old, over-the-hill milkshake machine salesman build a fast food empire with 1,600 restaurants at an annual revenue of $700 million? One word: persistence.
Prince Castle Sales.
Hi, Jim.
Ray, how's it going down there?
Good. Swell. A lot of interest.
We got an order. 6 mixers.
To anyone in particular?
McDonald's.
McDonald's?
Care for a little tour? We wanted something different, and that's when my brother here comes up with one of his brilliant ideas.
Orders ready in 30 seconds, not 30 minutes.
Unique, original. There's nothing like this.
It's revolutionary.
It's exactly what it is. It's revolutionary. What is that?
The Golden Arches.
It's a way to make the place stand out.
Huh. There should be McDonald's everywhere. Franchise the damn thing.
What's the first step?
Just leave that to me. That glorious name, McDonald's. I have to have it.
Did you mortgage our home? We could lose everything. Good things come to those who wait.
Business is war. It's dog eat dog. I could be growing this thing at twice the pace.
I don't know what to say.
So you'll renegotiate.
I can't.
Can't or won't?
What you ought to be doing is owning the land upon which that burger is cooked. You're not in the burger business. You're in the real estate business.
There's a wolf in the hen house. We let him in.
Isn't enough gonna be enough for you?
Honestly, never. Business is war. It's dog eat dog, rat eat rat. To succeed, to win, opportunity. Sky's the limit.
You have a contract. This is not your company, Ray.
You sure about that?
That's a great trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I think that sums up the film perfectly.
It does.
That's
It's
got
probably
everything in there.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is based on historical events, so I don't know that we can blame that trailer for perhaps having too many spoilers in there. Maybe. So I think, as we can gather from the sound bites in that trailer, this is very much the origin story of the McDonald's restaurant as we know it today. Now, I don't know. Much like when we did Social Network, I'm assuming McDonald's, they must have obviously given permission to use their logos and all of that in this movie. I don't know how happy they would have been about this movie being made.
I don't know that you see an actual current McDonald's logo.
That's true. That is
You
true.
see what it used to look like, not what it currently looks like. So
Huh.
I'm sure it's still trademarked, but not to the same
degree, yeah.
I also feel like Social Network, that was a movie about, like it's portraying recent events. This one, there's 50 years of history there. There are, I'm sure, books and books and books and exposés on just what happened with McDonald's. The truth is probably out there and probably has been debated before. This is not a new chapter in the story. It's just sort of a nice story to tell, I suppose.
Yeah, and I think it is told quite well. So just the gist of it, obviously, is Michael Keaton, who plays
Ray
Ray, thank you.
Ray Kroc.
Ray Kroc, and he is a down-and-out salesman. He discovers the one and only McDonald's. Can you believe it? At the time, and I really enjoyed that in this movie. This idea of there was only one, because I think we've all grown up with it. Like it's everywhere. There was only one, and it was a family business. And he takes this. It has this great speedy system that makes I think it's something like 30 seconds, isn't it, from the grill to the front or something like that. And he sees that. He sees dollar signs. And he basically takes over this and franchises it and makes it his own and steals it, I guess, essentially, doesn't he? From the two McDonald brothers. And, I mean, that just sounds like a great premise for a film. I can see why this was made.
It's it's an origin story. I feel like in the end of it, it's a villain origin story.
Yeah. And that's my favorite. Michael Keaton's really good in this, and you feel really sorry for him at the beginning of the film. You really do feel sorry for him, and he ends up becoming this monster by the end, like an absolute horrible human being who just, it's really well done.
And then you find out about what happened to the original brothers as well. You're just like, man, they got screwed.
Yeah.
So I know that you and I were talking about this, Alex, as the first half of the movie I was watching, and I think you agreed that you felt the same way. You really wanted McDonald's because of all the McDonald's you see. And then, like you say, you find out what happens to those original brothers, and you go, I'm not sure that I want to do that and give them any money at the moment, because the money did not go to the original brothers.
I suppose what benefits that is, if you go into a McDonald's today, it's not a 30-second turnaround. It's not, some family-owned business. It's a mega corporation, and it's totally unrecognizable to what we see in 1954.
McDonald's does not taste or look as good as it appears in this movie. Like it's funny. I did find it funny all the and it is actually a massive plot point in the movie as to why the brothers don't want to franchise McDonald's. Is the quality control, is how pedantic they are about the same amount of pickles. Because I'm sure we all have had McDonald's in the past that looks disgusting. Like the presentation is just all over the place, and you think, so it's definitely not the same values that those. Again, I'm only saying this from the perspective of the film. I don't know them, didn't know them personally. I'm just reacting to the information given to me in this adaptation, but it's definitely fallen a long way from what they were trying to do, I think, originally. Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting story.
Well, I think the idea is that I think we all really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to work out, because I don't know that I've nailed it exactly why I like it so much.
Right.
I don't know if can you guys articulate that at all for me?
I think it's because we're watching the underdog story, and it's not the underdog that is the McDonald's. It's the underdog that's Ray Kroc, who eventually becomes our villain. It's honestly an interesting way to sort of take that underdog story.
It's very it's interesting to me that he never got a kind of comeuppance in this film. Like he ends up basically getting so greedy, he starts taking, like, he cheats on his wife and he just gets richer and richer. And he doesn't. Well, there's that one scene at the end where he's looking in the mirror and you think maybe he feels regret. But I think the idea is that this is just, I guess it's a Heart of Darkness story in a way. Like he just gets consumed by this dream of his. He becomes Marlon Brando at the end of Apocalypse Now in a way, doesn't he?
Oh yeah.
So maybe that's his character arc. Is you're not again. I felt so sorry for him at the beginning of this movie. He's having no luck trying to sell these ice cream machines or smoothie machines, whatever they are. And you really want him to succeed. So you're right, Steve.
Yeah.
When he starts to succeed, about halfway or maybe the end of the first half of the movie, you go, this is great. I'm so happy for him. It's the McDonald's brothers are hesitant, but it seems to be going well for them. Everyone seems to be happy, and then he just turns into someone that is not likable and this like all-consuming monster.
What sort of helps with that though is the fact that he does butt heads with the McDonald's brothers, but he does take what they're saying about quality and all that very seriously. So when he starts opening up several locations, he's the one there sweeping up outside. He's the one there making sure people are cooking on time. He's taking pages out of their book. I think where the film really does. I mean, there could be even an argument to say that the McDonald's brothers are the antagonists in this film. They're unwilling to compromise, and one of them is just a coward, and they're definitely like getting in the way of progress.
Sure, yeah. I mean, that's a good point because, again, a big issue they had with the franchises is that in different states they'd be cooking different things.
Mm-hmm.
And we do see Ray Kroc absolutely furious when that does occur when he tries to franchise. So again, like he's still keeping those values of the McDonald's brothers, initially at least, to heart. Like he's still trying to achieve that. So again, you as an audience member are going, well, he is trying to still uphold what they asked him to do and everything. So he's surely, but you still get that tension between them, and you go like, I feel like this is not going to end well for them. I think there's that sense of impending doom for the McDonald brothers in this. And again, we should talk about them because they're played very well by the two actors. I don't have their names memorized. I know one
Nick
of them.
Offerman, man.
Nick Offerman from
Offerman.
Parks and Rec. And it took me so
Ron
long
Swanson.
to realize it was him from Parks and Rec until he started yelling. And it's like, oh my God, it's him from Parks and Rec. And,
The other gentleman is John Carroll Lynch, who he's a pretty good character actor. He was like almost the Zodiac killer in the movie Zodiac.
That's where I've seen him from, yeah.
And then you've also got Linda Cardellini. Oh my God. What a dish.
By the way, just quickly, he was also in the Chicago 7 as well.
Oh, he was. Yes, he was.
Oh, yeah.
But yes, and any film that features Linda Cardellini.
Oh, I'm doing an okay sign. I am. So.
Yeah. She was. I know I've mentioned it before, but in Freaks and Geeks, she was my crush.
Scooby Doo. She was my crush.
Oh, that's right. She's Velma, isn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Did we think that?
Actually, I didn't recognize her at first when she appeared in this. By the way, I was like,
okay,
is that Lynn? Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Sorry, Matthew.
No, it's right. I'm very pleased to, as always, to see Laura Dern in any movie because I think she's an underused actress. I do think that her character had very little to do in this film.
Well, probably because she had little to do.
Probably,
like she was a housewife,
But I found like as an actress, as Laura Dern is, of her profile, I feel like you'd only sign on to this movie if you had a big scene, and I feel like she didn't have a big scene.
No, because and that's probably. But what she does is because I say she's just a housewife, but she's not given anything to do because she doesn't have, much to do. And you can see that pain. She portrays that pain really well in this, I thought. So any scene that she was in, you could see this unease of she was just waiting to see what he was going to do.
Yeah.
She was probably too afraid to call him out on anything except for, she does it a little bit, but then you get those little bits where she does support him and you're like, oh, this is really sweet. And then it turns out he's a terrible human being.
Yeah.
And you feel for her. You're like, why would you do things to such a sweet woman like that?
There is that moment where he invites, he sort of like concedes and goes, no, you're right, I've been distant. Let's go on a date night. We'll go and have a really nice meal at our club. And you can tell that means the world to her. And then when he gets there, you realize he's only gone there to make contacts to try and get more franchisees to open up McDonald's. And that's the only reason he's gone there. And again, she has to wrestle with that. But then she tries to rise above that in that moment and then helps him do that. She's still on side with him and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It is, it's a bit, it's definitely uncomfortable to watch in places because of how, I don't want to use the word evil, like this is very steeped in reality. It's not like he's a supervillain or anything, but you definitely see a kind of malevolence growing in him.
Yeah,
I suppose.
an arrogance.
An arrogance, yeah. And especially when he meets the lawyer friend who tells him about, hey, you should own the land and you can do whatever you want. You don't have to rent the land anymore. And I thought that was a huge turning point for his character, is when he goes, hey, I can rob the McDonald's brothers of the McDonald's chain. Yeah,
I think that's the brilliantness of this film, is because on paper, Ray Kroc is a villain, right? But this movie, I'm still sitting here. I'm going, I don't think he's that bad of a guy.
Okay. I mean, not giving them
He's
any
a bad
royalties
guy.
or anything. Yeah.
He's a
Like,
bad guy.
He is a bad guy, but he doesn't start out a bad guy. He just turns into one.
Mhm.
Yeah, like you say, when you find out that the McDonald's brothers, because they had to change the name of their original McDonald's to M-Burger or whatever it is at the end, because they no longer have the rights to
Big
use
M.
the Big M. And then there's that little bit of text saying that they closed it down like 5 years later because Ray Kroc goes and builds a McDonald's opposite their site of the original McDonald's and puts them out of business, which to me, that was petty for him to do.
Yeah.
Because I think there's that thing he always pretended he was the founder, hence the title, and he wanted McDonald's #1, and it needed to be on that site for accuracy, I suppose, so people wouldn't go, hey, didn't there used to be a McDonald's there, I suppose? But yeah, it's like that was sort of like kind of a nail in the coffin for his character, I think. It's like, oh, you're not redeemable now at this point, which is very deliberate, I think. But I definitely was hungry, though, through watching it. Like, again, we live in a world of... And also, we're very, I think, COVID aware, so Uber Eats is always there. It's always present on the table. And I was like, should I? I mean, I am hungry. No, don't do it. Don't do it. It's McDonald's is bad for you.
I did not mean to order the pizza that I got last night for dinner.
Right. Well,
But I was just like, it's too easy to order things via your phone.
It is.
And-
You feel slightly like in the olden days. I'd remember if I got peckish, I would go and maybe make like a handful of cheese and crackers or something, a small snack, and that would tide me over. Now, if I have dinner and then if I stay up and I think I'm a bit peckish, I order a whole meal. It's too easy. But yeah, so this movie, make sure you've eaten beforehand, I think is the best thing. And then they go to that nice restaurant when Patrick Wilson turns up and they're eating nice food there as well. It reminds me of the only good shot in the original Suicide Squad movie is when she's slicing the steak. Because that steak just looks so good.
Oh, didn't she also had Harley Quinn had a moment in her film when she has
Yes.
the bacon and eggs?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it was so
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So
Steve, didn't you
good.
try and make that meal?
I did. It was beautiful. It was so good. Like, instead of the American cheese, I put the Kraft singles on there. It was, ugh.
That concerns me a little bit that you use Kraft singles.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's just more authentic
Yeah.
American taste, isn't it?
Oh, that's true. That's right.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Patrick Wilson has this bad habit of just popping up in movies.
He really does. No, I agree. Why is he here?
I was like, I know that guy from like films, but I've got no
Yeah.
idea.
He definitely has a reputation of being that guy from those films.
Yeah,
He's
pops
in a
up
lot of horror films.
He is. And he popped up in another movie recently, and I thought, I forget what the movie was actually. It might have been, was it?
I think it was an episode we did.
I think it was, and he just turns up.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking at the time, this whatever it was made at a point in his career that he was well known. That it's like, has someone told him he doesn't need to do these little bit parts where he just turns up for like 5 minutes? Wait, it was. Oh, it's gonna really annoy me.
Yeah.
I'm going through a bunch of his films. You guys keep talking, and I'll get back to you and see if I can.
Anyway, he does just turn up in. It's again, much like Laura Dern. His character, again, for an actor of his stature at this point in his career,
He's in Batman v Superman.
he's not in Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
What does he play in Batman v Superman?
I don't know. It just says that he's in Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice.
I don't remember him in that movie.
Yeah, well, he's in it.
All right, okay. I mean, I'm not one to argue with Google. They'll probably.
I think
find
I
me
remember
to-
him in that movie. I think I do.
But
Again,
that's
it's one of
exactly it.
those
He's just like,
roles
was
that he
the
just
guy
pops
in
up.
the movie.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
in that.
He just pops up in this movie, and then It's funny, we never get to see the fallout of Ray Kroc stealing Patrick Wilson's wife, which I thought was an odd choice to not see that.
He's
just-
far too good looking to like. Would you give up him for
however
Michael
old
Keaton?
Michael Keaton is, yeah.
Well,
But at
Linda
the same
Cardellini was obviously like, you've got
Money.
2 beadier eyes right now. I need to be with
Yeah.
with
And God,
Michael
those
Keaton.
burgers look tasty.
I mean, it goes without saying, but I really, really enjoyed the contrast in this film between Ray Kroc starting off selling milkshake mixes
Mhm.
and the denouement of the film where everything starts to unravel in that it's an argument with the McDonald brothers about prepackaged milkshakes.
That's right. Yeah, the powdered milkshakes.
That's nice.
I definitely agree, and I also, again, this film actually ends on I mean, it's you hate Ray Kroc for it, but that little thing about once McDonald's started making more money, they went back to using actual real ice cream.
Yeah.
And it's like, so that argument that caused all that disarray, he then reversed. It was like, again, I don't know how accurate this is, but it was just so poetic in the way that the movie structures that. It was like,
Yeah.
that's told that story well, just like even just with food products, it's done a really good job of it. Which was, it was. I also, it's funny how Ray Kroc keeps sending the McDonald's brothers letters with the McDonald name, but like increasingly more grand fonts and logos and stuff. So I'm like, what is this? Is this like a different company to the one that we work for?
Yeah. With letterheads from like real estate companies.
Yeah,
They're like,
exactly.
What? But they're now one of the largest real estate companies in the world.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I think, I mean, obviously we live in a Western society, but you don't have to go very far. A couple of blocks. I mean, I think every suburb would have a McDonald's, wouldn't it, more or less?
Almost. I remember doing road trips as a kid, and Mum and Dad would be like, "We know that we're getting into a new town because there's the Golden Arches
my
up on a
parents said
big
the same
post,
thing.
and we're not going there. Okay, we're not going to McDonald's. Mum, can we get McDonald's?
I mean, let's be
I
honest.
want hash browns.
McDonald's would not be as nice now as we remember it being a kid. I've always found it's much like, I mean, it's probably always been terrible, but it's like when you go back to a place you were at as a child but haven't been there since, and then you've grown up and you go back and it just feels smaller or not as impressive. That's because you yourself have grown up and you're not as easily impressed by things. And I think the same can be said for McDonald's. They push for the family restaurant in this movie so that people can grow up with it and be conditioned to go, it's always there. We must have McDonald's.
Matthew, such a pessimistic view of the world. You grow up, so therefore you can't enjoy things anymore.
No, I was
Talk
just,
about being a grumpy old man.
I'm
Come on.
just trying to make my point is like, in the ads, like the burgers are always bigger in the ads than they are in real life, or they get people with smaller hands to hold them in the TV ads so the burgers look bigger. Now, this is true. This is stuff that they do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, no, I'll simmer down now.
Yeah. What are we going to give this out of 5 watts?
Happy Meals?
We can't. I mean, the movie's an ad for McDonald's. It
Yeah.
feels like, but kind of not.
Pushing it a little bit,
It's an
maybe?
anti-story. I feel like naming a part of our 5-star after a direct product that you can purchase
Yeah,
from
that's-
McDonald's.
That's true. I know what I'll be getting on my way out.
5 grease traps.
Grease traps.
Yeah.
Squeaky voice teens.
Stealing wives.
Ice cream machines.
Linda
We-
Cardellini's.
We sell French fries.
Welcome to Judy Dench's fish and chip shop.
We need more special sauce. Put this mayonnaise out in the sun.
References. Yeah. Okay. What are we doing? Grease traps or what?
Grease Traps probably works for how slimy Ray Kroc is as a character.
Yeah.
He's
Yes.
a grease trap.
Metaphors.
Metaphors. There you go. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Yeah, I did enjoy this film. I thought it's just a nice, simple little film. It didn't suffer from biopic-itis, where you go,
Yeah.
I know where this is going, I know where it's going to end. It was an interesting journey to get to the end, and I definitely learned some things. I thought Nick Offerman was great. I thought Michael Keaton, great. Linda Cardellini, great. I think maybe the writing was a little too dumb. It felt like maybe it needed to explain too many things. It needed to over expose. Yeah, so a bit of 3 for me.
Okay, sure. I would agree with most of those points. I mean, this movie's like 2 hours. I think it maybe could have been like saying like shaving off some runtime and maybe be like an hour and 50 minutes or something like that. I felt like it could just be a little shorter, especially in that middle bit. But I mean, Michael Keaton has just doesn't disappoint the older he gets. He just gets better and better. And he carries this movie incredibly well, especially by the end playing such an unlikable character. You're still enjoying his performance, which is a great thing for an actor to be able to do. All of his supporting actors and characters, they're all great. And again, Nick Offerman is, especially once I figured out who he was as well, I was like, wow, he's so good in this. It took me a while to realize who he was. I really enjoyed this film. Again, just make sure you've eaten before you watch it, because there are some good shots of people eating, and the food does look good in the film. I'm going to give this a 4.
Okay, nice. Well, I'm going to sit right in between the two of you and give it a 3.5. Do I want to? No, I'm close to giving it a 4, but I just don't want to. It's such a good, solid film. But I don't. For me, the rewatchability isn't there.
That's true.
I would agree with that.
I enjoy all the creation of how it's all put together. You know, the story itself, and him creating this beast that lives in the McDonald's brand. But yeah, I just don't feel like I want to watch it again.
That's fair enough.
So I'm going to sit on 3.5, but it's still a really good, solid film, and Michael Keaton is just amazing in it.
Yeah,
Absolutely, without a doubt.
I'm very excited to see his Batman turn up again in The Flash.
I don't care about that whatsoever.
Do you guys? Okay, you don't know about it, Alex, and Steve obviously doesn't care, but that's fine. Michael Keaton is appearing as his 1989 Batman in the new Flash movie. He's been seen on set. It's confirmed.
Oh, jeez.
Along with Ben Affleck as his Batman.
Oh, jeez. Let it all end.
I think that's really exciting. For someone who last week, or whenever when we did Black Widow, was going, I'm a bit over superhero films, I got a soft spot for Batman. I will always turn up for Batman.
Can a franchise just not do a multiverse? Like, just get over it. Let your characters move on, you know?
Apparently not. Anyway.
You're definitely not going to like the next Spider-Man movie then, Alex.
It'll be fine. Whatever. just okay.
Is Andrew Garfield in that one, or is it just Tobey Maguire?
Rumors.
Okay.
Rumors.
Okay.
Definitely going to have Alfred Molina as Dr. Rock. It's definitely going to have Jamie Foxx as Electro.
Why? They were doing so well.
Hey, it's going to be a different version of Electro, so.
I would hope so.
Rumors is a good album by Fleetwood Mac. Anyway.
It is a good album.
Okay, well that's 10, and my maths I think was good. Did good maths. It was 10.5.
What did you
10.5.
Yeah. Okay. All right, I'll just agree.
It was a 4 and a 3 and a 3.5. 6 plus 4, 6, 10, 10.5. Yeah, that's it. Woohoo! Yeah. I finished high school. Wait, actually, I have an honors degree. But it wasn't in mathematics.
I'm an art student.
We've been the Trailer Island Podcast. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts on Wednesdays with new episodes. This week, again, we were joined by Steve remotely. And
hello.
So if he sounds a little funny, then that's entirely his fault. You didn't catch COVID, but you're at risk of catching COVID. Was it the dog?
No, it wasn't the dog. No. That's all I'm at liberty to say.
Was it the captain? Because we time tugged this week. Did the captain do it?
No. Captain's fully vaccinated now.
Oh, that's...
You can still share it, though. If you can still pass it on.
He was the first one to get vaccinated in Taiwan.
All right.
How does he have access to other countries? This isn't fair. We're stuck on this island, and he's off gallivanting.
Yeah, you're right. The captain doesn't have a boat.
He's got the time tug.
He certainly does.
It's a boat of sorts. Anyway, so...
I'm Matthew, by the way.
We've been the Trailer Island Podcast. I'm Alex. I was joined by... That was Steve and Matt.
Good night.
Yeah.
This is a Narrative Network podcast.